Elara had always felt drawn to the edge of the forest, as if it whispered her name in the hush of twilight. Villagers spoke of the woods in hushed tones, warning of strange wolves that were not quite wolves, of shadows that moved with intelligence, and eyes that glimmered like fire in the mist. Most avoided it after dusk, but Elara's curiosity had never been easily tamed. On this evening, the mist was thick, curling between the trees like silver smoke. The air was cool and damp, carrying the scent of earth and moss. Elara moved quietly, her fingers brushing against the bark of gnarled oaks, feeling the pulse of the forest beneath her touch. She wasn't afraid. Fear felt distant, replaced by a strange, magnetic pull toward something unseen. A sudden rustle in the underbrush made her pause. She froze, listening. The sound was soft at first, almost like the whisper of wind through the leaves. But then it became sharper, a low, deliberate movement. Her eyes adjusted to the dim light, and she saw it. A wolf. Its fur was silver, almost glowing in the mist, and its eyes were unlike any she had ever seen. They were deep, intelligent, and piercing, as if the creature understood more than it should. The wolf regarded her for a long moment, head tilted slightly, before it turned and began to move deeper into the fog. Elara's heart leapt. Something inside her told her to follow, though every rational thought warned against it. She took a step, then another, until the soft crunch of her boots on the damp earth became the only sound besides the faint rustle of the wolf's passage. As she followed, the mist thickened. Shadows twisted in shapes that seemed almost human. The forest felt alive, watching her, testing her courage. Yet the wolf never faltered, moving with purpose, as though it knew exactly where it was leading her. Elara's breath came in quiet bursts, half from the cold, half from the thrill of the unknown. Hours seemed to pass, though the forest had no sun or moon to measure time. The trees became stranger, twisted into shapes that seemed almost impossible. A chill ran down her spine, but she pressed on. Finally, the wolf stopped at a clearing. Mist swirled around, thick and luminous, and for a moment, it felt like stepping into another world. Then the wolf vanished. 1 second it had been there, and the next, it was gone, as if swallowed by the fog itself. Elara's pulse quickened. She scanned the clearing, searching for any sign of movement, but all was still except for the mist that danced around her ankles. And then he appeared. Tall, broad-shouldered, and impossibly commanding, the man stepped out from the mist. His hair was dark as midnight, falling in loose waves around a face carved with sharp, noble features. His eyes were golden, glowing faintly, as if lit from within. And they locked onto hers with a weight that made her heart catch. There was an intensity in his gaze, a pull she could neither name nor resist. He spoke, his voice low and smooth, carrying the authority of a king, yet the softness of someone who had suffered. "You should not have come here," he said, though there was no anger in his tone, only a quiet warning. Elara swallowed hard, her voice barely more than a whisper. I had to. I saw the wolf." "The wolf led you," he said, almost gently, though each word held a hidden edge. "You were meant to follow. And yet, now that you have, you are lost in more ways than one." He stepped closer, and she felt the air around him change warmer, heavier, almost alive. Her instincts screamed to step back, yet her legs felt rooted to the spot. There was a power in him, an authority that was both terrifying and magnetic. Who are you?" she asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "I am Kalen," he said simply. "The one the forest has kept hidden for centuries. The Alpha King. The Alpha King." Elara's mind struggled to understand. King? Alpha? Was he human? Or was he something else? The golden glow in his eyes made her doubt everything she thought she knew. "You are the one the wolf sought," Kalen continued. and the one the forest has been waiting for. You possess something rare, something that can change everything. Her heart pounded. She felt an invisible thread connecting her to him, a sense that their fates were intertwined. Change everything. How? Kalen's expression darkened slightly, as if remembering centuries of pain. There is a curse upon this forest, upon me. It has bound me in ways that time cannot heal. Only one with courage, and a heart that can see beyond fear, can help me break it. Ilara swallowed, the weight of his words settling in her chest. She had always known there was something different about her, something that set her apart from the others in the village. And now, standing before Kalen, she felt it an undeniable pull. A destiny she had not yet fully understood. "Why me?" she whispered. "Because you are brave," he said. "And because the forest has chosen you. There is more to you than you know. Ilara, your presence here is no accident." For a moment, they simply stood in the mist, eyes locked, each aware of the tension that simmered between them. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Ilara felt her heartbeat echo in her ears. She did not understand why she felt so drawn to him, why the sight of him made her chest ache with a longing she could not name. Then, as if sensing the rising danger, Kalen's expression hardened. "There are forces that do not wish this curse to end," he said. "Rogue clans, shadows that linger from before my reign. They will not let you leave this forest unscathed." Ilara's courage wavered, but only slightly. She had come this far. She could not turn back now. "Then, I will help," she said, surprising herself with the steadiness of her voice. Kalen studied her, his golden eyes searching hers, weighing her resolve. After a long moment, he nodded once. "Very well. But know this, helping me comes with risk. There are truths you are not yet ready to face, and once you see them, you cannot unsee them." The mist shifted, curling around them like a living thing. Ilara felt a sudden pull at her senses, a shiver that was not from the cold. Visions flickered before her eyes, images of wolves, of battles long past, of betrayal and sorrow, and a shadowed figure that seemed to reach for her from across centuries. What is happening?" she asked, voice trembling. "The forest is showing you its memory," Kalen said softly, almost mournfully. "The curse is older than you can imagine, and it is bound to me. And now, to you." Ilara tried to steady herself. Her heart raced, her mind swirled with fear and wonder. She did not know what lay ahead, yet she felt a strange certainty that she could not turn away. Something deep within her told her that her life had led to this moment, to this forest, to him. Kalen reached out his hand, a gesture both commanding and inviting. Ilara hesitated. The air was thick with danger, mystery, and longing. But the pull she felt toward him was undeniable. Her hand trembled as she reached out to meet his, the mist curling around them like a protective cloak. As their fingers touched, the forest seemed to exhale. A low, distant howl echoed through the trees, a sound both mournful and warning. The mist thickened further, swirling in unnatural patterns, and Ilara felt herself being pulled into a vision of fire, betrayal, and a centuries-old curse that had shaped the forest and Kalen's life. She gasped and tried to pull back. But the vision held her, revealing the truth of the forest's magic, the wolf's secret, and the bond that now connected her to Kalen. She saw him not just as a powerful, mysterious figure, but as someone who carried pain, loss, and a hope he had long believed impossible. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the vision ended. The mist had calmed, but the echo of the howl lingered, a reminder that the forest was alive, aware, and watching. Kalen's golden eyes softened, a rare vulnerability breaking through the mask of authority. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The curse waits, and so do those who would keep it in place. You have a choice, Ilara. You can walk away, or you can step forward into what you were meant to face. Ilara looked at him, her heart pounding. She did not know what lay ahead, but she knew one thing. She could not turn away now. Whatever the forest, the wolf, or Kalen held for her, she would face it. And so, with a steadying breath, she nodded. I will step forward, she said, her voice firm, though her heart raced with anticipation and fear. Kalen inclined his head, a shadow of a smile playing on his lips. And with that, the mist seemed to shift around them, guiding their path deeper into the forest, into the unknown, and into the destiny that awaited them both. The forest whispered, and somewhere in the distance, a wolf howled its sound, carrying both warning and welcome. The deeper Ilara walked into the forest, the heavier the mist became. Trees loomed like silent sentinels, their twisted branches stretching toward the sky like gnarled fingers. Each step seemed to carry her farther from the world she knew, and yet closer to a destiny she could not yet name. Kalen led the way, silent and confident, moving as if the forest itself obeyed him. In his wolf form, he had been an imposing figure, but now, in his human form, he radiated power and command. His golden eyes constantly flicked to hers, sharp with concern, as if reading her every thought before she could speak. Ilara, he said at last, breaking the silence, you must understand what this forest is, and what it has kept hidden. My life, the wolves, even the mist, they are bound by a curse older than memory. She nodded, though the weight of his words made her chest tighten. Tell me. I want to understand, she said. Her voice was steady, but a small tremor betrayed the storm of fear and excitement swirling inside her. Kalen stopped in a small clearing, where the mist hung thick and silver in the air. Long ago, he began, my family ruled these lands, but betrayal shattered our kingdom. A queen, trusted and loved, was deceived. Her spirit was trapped in the forest, and her curse fell upon me, upon all who came after. I am bound to this land, unable to leave it fully, unable to claim what should have been mine. Ilara listened, fascinated and horrified. She could see the pain in his eyes, the burden he carried silently for centuries. And the wolf? She asked softly. Is it part of the curse? Kalen's lips curved into a shadow of a smile. The wolf is part of me. The curse allows me to shift between human and wolf, and I am bound to the forest through it. The wolf is my guardian, my weapon, and my reminder of the life I lost. The wolf led you here because the forest sensed your heart. It sensed courage, empathy, and something rare, the ability to help break the curse. Ilara felt a shiver run through her. Me? I'm just... me? Kalen's gaze softened. You are not just anything. There is a power within you, tied to the forest's ancient magic. I cannot explain it fully. Not yet. But I know that together, we may have a chance to free this land and me from the shadows that bind us. The forest seemed to quiet as he spoke, as if listening to every word. The mist shifted, and she felt it brush against her skin like the gentle caress of a living thing. Her heart thumped in her chest, a mix of fear, wonder, and something else, something electric she could not name. As they moved forward again, Kalen's expression darkened. The curse is not the only danger, he warned. There are clans, rogue werewolves who resent my power, who wish to claim the forest for themselves. They will see you as a threat, because your presence changes the balance of magic here. I will protect you, but you must trust me completely. Ilara's pulse quickened. I do trust you, she said, meeting his gaze. I want to help. Kalen studied her for a long moment, as if testing the truth of her words. Finally, he nodded. Then you must learn the ways of this forest, its magic, and its creatures. You will face shadows that seem real and unreal at the same time. You will see visions of the past of pain, betrayal, and loss. And yet, you will need to keep your heart steady, for it will be the key. The mist grew thicker, swirling like living smoke. Shapes moved in the fog shadows that seemed almost human, watching, waiting. Ilara's hand instinctively went to Kalen's arm, and he did not pull away. The touch, brief though it was, sent warmth through her body, a comfort amidst the growing tension. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed to stretch and twist in the mist. The forest revealed its secrets slowly. Hidden glades where silver flowers bloomed under the shadow of ancient trees. Streams that shimmered with light that came from nowhere, and distant sounds that felt like whispers of spirits long gone. Kalen finally stopped at a clearing dominated by a massive oak, its trunk twisted and hollowed as if centuries had carved it into a throne for the forest itself. "This is the heart of the curse," he said. "Here, the original betrayal took place. Here, the queen's spirit was bound. And here, we will begin." Ilara stepped closer, awe striking her with every heartbeat. The air was thick with magic, and she felt it stirring something within herself. A strange warmth that radiated from her chest. She could not explain it, but she felt connected to the forest in a way that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Kalen turned to her, his expression both commanding and tender. "You must stay close to me. The shadows that linger here will test your courage. Fear can take many forms. It will try to turn you against me, against yourself. But you must hold fast. You are stronger than you know." Ilara nodded, her determination growing. "I will not fail you," she said, though her voice carried a trace of uncertainty. Kalen's lips curved into a faint, approving smile. "Good. Then follow me." As they moved into the heart of the oak's clearing, the mist seemed to thicken into shapes, dark forms that twisted and writhed like living shadows. Whispers echoed through the air, voices full of sorrow, rage, and warning. Ilara could see the faint outlines of figures. Wolves, with eyes of fire, humans twisted in torment, and faces that seemed familiar, yet distant. The shadows surged toward them suddenly. Kalen shifted effortlessly into his wolf form, massive and silver, moving with a speed and grace that left Ilara breathless. She barely had time to react before the shadows retreated at his presence, hissing and recoiling as if afraid of him. "Ilara," Kalen called, his voice a low growl, still audible despite his form. "Focus. Do not let them touch your mind. Fear gives them power." Ilara steadied herself, taking a deep breath. She could feel the pulse of the forest under her feet, the rhythm of life in the trees and the soil. She closed her eyes briefly, reaching inward, and felt a spark of energy, a connection to the magic Kalen had spoken of. She opened her eyes, and the shadows wavered, as if sensing her newfound strength. Kalen shifted back to human form beside her, his golden eyes bright with pride. "And with each step, you grow stronger. But this is only the beginning. The curse's roots are deep, and they will not release their hold easily." Ilara looked at him, a mix of admiration and something she could not name rising in her chest. The Alpha King was fearsome, commanding, yet vulnerable beneath the surface, a depth that drew her in despite the danger. She realized that her fascination was no longer just curiosity. Something more profound, more compelling, was stirring between them. Suddenly, a howl pierced the mist. It was close. Too close. The rogue clans had found them. Shadows moved faster, more aggressively, forming shapes that were almost wolf-like but wrong in their proportions. Kalen's expression hardened. "They are here," he said. "We must fight, or we will be overwhelmed." Before Ilara could react, the shadows surged forward. Kalen shifted into his wolf form with astonishing speed, leaping into the mist with grace and ferocity. Ilara's heart pounded as she watched him move, his every action precise, powerful, and protective. A shadow lunged toward her. Instinctively, she ducked, feeling the rush of air as it passed by. The forest seemed to respond to her courage, the mist swirling around her like a shield. She could feel the power within her rising, an echo of the magic Kalen had spoken of. Kalen's wolf form returned, circling her protectively, fangs bared and eyes glowing. The shadows recoiled under his dominance, but one figure managed to slip past, lunging at Ilara with a ghostly scream. She instinctively raised her hand, and a pulse of energy shot through the clearing. The shadow shrieked, dissolving into mist. Ilara staggered, heart racing, amazed at what she had just done. Kalen's wolf form padded to her side, transforming back into human form. "You are ready," he said, his voice low and filled with awe. "But the curse's power is far from broken. This was only a test." Ilara's breath came in sharp gasps. She felt exhilarated, terrified, and drawn to Kalen all at once. She realized then that their bond was more than magic. It was something deep, something ancient, something neither time nor curse could sever. Kalen reached for her hand, but before their fingers could meet, the mist thickened, swirling violently. A figure emerged from the fog, tall, menacing, cloaked in shadows, its eyes glowing red. It was a rogue alpha, one of the leaders of the clans, and it had come not to test them, but to claim the forest, and perhaps Ilara herself. Ilara stepped back, her heart hammering. Kalen moved in front of her, body tense and ready, his golden eyes locking onto the intruder. The tension in the air was palpable, a storm waiting to break. "Stay behind me," Kalen growled, his voice both protective and commanding. "This battle is mine. But know this, Ilara. The curse is not finished, and the danger is far from over. We must be ready for anything." Ilara nodded, gripping her courage as tightly as she could. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the mist swirling like a living thing, waiting. And then, with a fierce howl, the rogue alpha lunged. The rogue alpha towered over them, shadows swirling around its body like black smoke. Its red eyes glowed with malice, and every movement radiated power. The mist of the forest thickened, wrapping around Ilara and Kalen, as if the forest itself were holding its breath. Kalen stepped in front of Ilara, his posture commanding, his golden eyes blazing. "Stay behind me," he warned, his voice steady despite the tension. "This creature will not relent, but we will endure." Ilara's heart pounded, fear and determination warring inside her. She had grown stronger since following Kalen into the mist, feeling the forest's energy coursing through her. She realized that her bond with him was no longer only emotional, it was magical. The pulse she had felt in the clearing before surged again, warming her chest and filling her with courage. The rogue alpha lunged, a blur of shadow and fury. Kalen shifted seamlessly into his wolf form, silver fur glinting faintly in the mist, and met the attack with raw strength and precision. The clash of power sent tremors through the clearing. The rogue snarled, claws slashing through the air, while Kalen countered with agility and force, his golden eyes locked on the intruder with unwavering focus. Ilara's instincts screamed at her to move, but she remained rooted, letting the pulse of magic within her guide her. Closing her eyes briefly, she reached out with her senses, feeling the forest's heartbeat and connecting with Kalen. Energy flowed between them, silent and electric, strengthening him even as he fought. "You can do this," she whispered, more to herself than to him. "We can do this, together." Kalen, sensing her presence and power, glanced toward her. For a fleeting moment, time seemed to stop, the world reduced to golden eyes, silver fur, and the warmth of her courage fueling his own. He bared his fangs and lunged again, meeting the rogue alpha with a force that shook the mist around them. The shadowed creature stumbled back, but it was not defeated. Red eyes locked onto Alara, sensing the magic that flowed from her. It moved toward her with frightening speed, and Kalen growled, leaping between them with a power that made the ground tremble. "Alara," he called. "Focus. Remember what I taught you. Trust yourself." Alara nodded, heart racing. She lifted her hands instinctively, and the pulse of energy she had felt before surged outward. The rogue alpha hissed and recoiled, the shadow around it flickering like a candle in the wind. She could feel her magic connecting with the forest, drawing strength from the soil, the trees, and the mist itself. Kalen's wolf form moved with renewed vigor, his attacks precise and controlled. The rogue alpha faltered, momentarily overwhelmed by their combined power. Then, with a synchronized effort, Kalen leapt and struck, his fangs meeting the creature's shadowed form. The rogue howled, the sound echoing through the mist like a warning to all who might challenge them. And then, it was gone, dissipated into the fog, as if it had never existed. The mist hung heavy and silent in the clearing, and for a long moment, Alara and Kalen simply stood there, breathing in the aftermath. "You did well," Kalen said softly, shifting back into his human form. His eyes softened as they met hers. "Without you, I could not have held the forest at bay." Alara's chest heaved, a mix of exhaustion, relief, and something deeper, something she could not yet name. I felt it," she said. "The forest, it helped me. And you helped me." Kalen reached out, brushing a strand of damp hair from her face. His hand lingered, a touch, both protective and tender. "Alara," he said, his voice low, "you are stronger than you realize, and the bond between us, it is rare, and it will be what allows us to end this curse." Ilara's heart fluttered. She felt the pull between them, a connection that was more than physical. It was emotional, magical, and eternal. She realized that this bond was the key to not only surviving the curse, but transforming it. Kalen led her toward the heart of the ancient oak. The forest seemed to respond to their unity, the mist parting to reveal a hollow in the trunk that glowed faintly with silver light. Inside, the remnants of the curse shimmered, a spectral figure of a queen. Her face, sorrowful, her eyes filled with centuries of pain and betrayal. Alara gasped. "The queen," Kalen nodded. "Her spirit is bound here, and her sorrow feeds the curse. But you, Alara, can reach her. Your courage and your heart, they can heal what centuries of pain have broken." Stepping closer, Alara extended her hands toward the spectral queen. She felt the energy within her pulse and flow outward, touching the queen's ethereal form. The figure shivered, the silver light around it flickering like a flame in the wind. "Please," Alara whispered. "Let go of the pain. Let it end." The queen's lips moved, silent at first, then forming words that echoed in Alara's mind. "You have come. The forest, the curse, it will be undone. If the bond is true." Kalen stepped beside Alara, his hand on hers, sharing the warmth and strength that flowed between them. "Together," he said, "together, we can end this." Alara felt the pulse of energy surge stronger, flowing from her to Kalen, into the forest, and finally into the spectral queen. The light around the queen intensified, bright and silver, until it enveloped the entire clearing. The forest seemed to sigh, the mist lifting and twisting into a calm, gentle haze. The queen's spirit, now radiant and free, smiled at Alara. "Thank you. You have healed more than the curse. You have restored hope." And then, she faded, leaving behind a sense of peace and renewal. Kalen turned to Alara, his expression softened with relief and awe. "It is done," he said. "The curse is broken. The forest, and I, are free." Ilara felt a wave of exhaustion and exhilaration wash over her. She had faced shadows, danger, and fear, and had emerged stronger, not only in body but in heart. She realized that her bond with Kaelin was no longer just a connection, it was a partnership, built on trust, courage, and something deeper than either could fully name. Kaelin stepped closer, his golden eyes searching hers. "Ilara," he said, voice low and sincere, "you have risked everything to help me. You have given me hope I thought lost centuries ago. And now, I wish to give you a choice. Stay here with me, in this forest, where we can rebuild and protect it together. Or leave, knowing that the bond between us will never fade, no matter where you go." Ilara felt her heart leap. The forest around them was alive with quiet magic. Sunlight piercing through the lingering mist, painting silver patterns on the ground. She looked at Kaelin, at the strength and vulnerability in his gaze, and realized that leaving was no longer an option. "I choose to stay," she said, her voice steady, filled with certainty and warmth. "With you. Whatever comes next, we face it together." Kaelin's lips curved into a soft, rare smile. He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. The connection between them, now sealed by trust and courage, seemed to pulse with energy, a visible bond that the forest itself recognized. For a long moment, they simply stood there, holding hands, the forest calm and protective around them. The shadows had gone, the mist had lifted, and the air was filled with the soft hum of life renewed. "You have given me more than I ever hoped for," Kaelin said, his voice low and intimate. "You have healed me not just the curse, but the centuries of solitude and pain. You have restored my hope, my heart." Ilara's chest warmed at his words. "And you have given me courage, a purpose I never knew I had. Together, we are stronger than the curse, stronger than fear, stronger than anything this forest can throw at us." Kaelin nodded, his golden eyes shimmering. "Then let us protect this place, and each other, together." The sun began to pierce the forest canopy, the mist dissolving into golden light. Birds stirred in the trees, and the silver flowers that had glowed faintly now shone with the warmth of morning. The forest was alive, peaceful, and free. Ilara and Kaelin stood side by side, hands clasped, hearts beating in quiet harmony. The curse that had haunted centuries was no more, replaced by the promise of life, hope, and a bond that would endure. And yet, in the distance, a faint howl echoed soft, but unmistakable. The forest shifted around them, alive with magic that had not been fully tamed. Adventure might still call, but for now, they had each other. Ilara looked at Kaelin, a small smile on her lips. "No matter what comes, we face it together," she said. Kaelin's smile matched hers, golden eyes glowing with warmth. "Together," he echoed. And in that moment, amidst the mist, the forest, and the fading shadows, they knew they had found not only freedom and redemption, but also each other. A bond stronger than any curse, older than time, and brighter than any shadow the forest could hold.